Morning. How you guys doing today? So I got a subscriber question that I thought was pretty interesting that I thought we'd tackle this morning. And that was really around, okay, if we're truly in a bear market, the average bear market goes down 40%, from peak to trough. What does that mean for real estate? What does that mean for real estate in Fresno? What are your thoughts? So I've been in the market long enough to see two kind of bear markets. One that the tech wreck in the 2000s, and then obviously the big one in I don't know, '08, whenever that was. And I think this downturn is going to be more like the former than the latter, but I'll explain both. So the first bear market, the one, the dot-com craze blew up and companies that were overvalued and had no revenue, went out. Fresno kept on trucking, right? They don't have really any tech sector to speak of, at least at size to me meaningful. They're not dependent on any of the sectors that were kind of impacted by that. They didn't have their unemployment didn't really change much. It wasn't, it didn't affect them, right? Life went on. In fact, the Fresno real estate market kept on its upward trajectory, certainly slower, but prices were steadily rising, just, at a slower rate. Where the Bay Area, where I live, it did see a hit, definite pause, definitely some price reductions and whatnot, back in the early 2000s. Then obviously the '08 crash hurt everyone. Fresno got hurt more than the Bay Area in that case, right? Because the investors, the overfinancing and houses were just ridiculously priced. Thankfully, we saw that and realized we couldn't buy another one, so we moved our equity. We got out just in time. So that's not happening today, right? The over leverage, the silly loans, the predatory lending, all of those things that really impacted the crash last time when the stock market went down. We had a lending problem that happened to be on an asset called real estate, and it was that mortgage market or lending market that got toxic, that really caused the crash and a lot of the pain, right? And houses were suddenly worth half. So again, right, the stock market I think is in a bear market. I think there's a year to a year and a half left of pain, right? If you look at the averages, I don't see Fresno market, at least at a macro level, being impacted much. Certainly, the higher end stuff's going to be impacted, and I think building is going to be impacted. But again, it's builders are building the wrong stuff. I mean, I don't get it, right? Where all the new stuff I see being built is above the median. Whatever happened to building small starter homes and whatnot? So, I mean, hopefully that stuff comes back, or heaven forbid, build some condominiums or townhomes or something. We need stuff for the first time buyer, and until then, I'm just going to keep buying as much as I can. At that low end, fixing them up, making them really nice, and have plenty of buyers. So, I certainly see a correction, bear market in the stock market. I do think, eventually people will give up like they always do and take money out, right? Take whatever cash they have left out, and then, they got to put it somewhere. So I think real estate is going to be a safe place for folks. And if you get out soon rather than later, you might be able to save some. But again, this is just one guy's opinion. So in the end, the question was, what do I see a 40% correction in the stock market doing on Fresno? And the answer, based on my experience, is probably not much. This is going to be similar to the 2000, where any downturn was sort of felt locally, maybe in the tech heavy areas, Silicon Valley, things like that, won't be affected in Fresno, and prices will continue to rise, probably at a slower rate, which isn't all that bad. But it won't be the disaster like it was in '08.